I love Indian food, but guess who hates Indian food? My wife, Angelina. Hates it, hates the spice, the whole thing. So we always kind of have this back and forth of when can we have it, when can I cook it? And when I do cook it, I love to make this dish. I'm gonna make butter chicken with yogurt naan in under 15 minutes. You ready, Howard?
I'm all set.
All right, bud, let's do it. All right, so I've got 2 pans, both on a medium heat. All right, and I'm gonna grab some chicken breast from the fridge. So just everyday chicken breast, all good. And I'm just gonna put this onto a plastic board. Whenever you cut chicken, really, really important, raw chicken for that matter, do it on a plastic board. It's just a lot easier to clean and it keeps things a lot more sanitary. So I'm gonna cut this guy up into cubes and we're literally just gonna cut them into strips. I'd say about as thick as your finger, right? So about that thick, like chicken strips. And nowadays you can buy them at the store like this, so super easy to do. I'm gonna cut these then into chunks. So I'm just turning it around and cutting them into little baby chunks. Really easy. You can use chicken thighs for this. You can use pretty much any meat or seafood for this exact dish. So just kind of replace this with your favorite thing. If you like tofu, if that's your thing, go for it. But you just need to kind of cube them up so they're all around the same size. All right, that looks great. Cool. So we've got some chicken. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. All right, and the pan's already hot. Now to cook, you know, typically in India, they use something called ghee, which is clarified butter. But I realize that not a lot of people have clarified butter on hand, so just use butter. Just use like a little stick of butter, nothing cray. I'm just gonna grab a little hit of it. And fresh knife. Just kind of get it into the pan. Now I'm actually gonna do a lot more butter than I need. I'm gonna do about 6 tablespoons, and I'm gonna use 3 for the chicken itself, but 3 for my actual naan. All right, so while that's happening, I've got the chicken on the board, and I'm gonna season it. This is garam masala, this is the good stuff. Looks like a little, you know what it looks like, a little dime bag or something like that. Looks illegal. But what we're gonna do is, garam masala has cloves, cinnamon, all these warm spices, like think of like things that in like an apple pie, you know, really nice. So I'm gonna put a bunch of this spice over the chicken. All right, lots of salt as well and pepper. Beautiful. Nice big pinch. Awesome. And then while this pan's heating up, I'm actually gonna cut an onion, and I cut the onion the same way every time. I cut it down to the counter into little strips like that, but I'm leaving the back together. And then I put my knife horizontally through it. And again, the back is together the whole time. That way it just holds it together for me. And I cut down. And you've got these nice little bits of onion. And you know, this is like weekday cooking, so if they're not all perfectly sized, it's okay. They're gonna survive. Okay, so butter is melting. We've got this, we've got that. I'm gonna grab a little bit of coconut milk and then have, let's see, yes, some yogurt and some tomato sauce. This is just leftover tomato sauce. Whenever you have leftover tomato sauce from like a can of tomatoes or something like that, always make sure that you take it out of the can and put it in a jar or something. The can can react with it. It's no good. All right, so I'm gonna grab a little spoon, and I know I wanted to save some of this. Let's see. Save some of this melted butter for our bread, just about a couple tablespoons. And a pat. And then all these guys in. Beautiful. All right, just kind of start to brown those. Amazing. I'm gonna add about half the onions, maybe about 3/4 of the onions, and we'll save the rest. We're actually gonna top the whole dish off with a little bit of red onion, which will be really, really nice. So I'm gonna let these sear just for a sec, let them do their thing. They're absolutely just cooking away, and the goal is to get them a little crusty, and then we're gonna hit them with the tomato and our coconut milk. But I wanted to make a flatbread that kind of goes with this because it kind of gets like a gravy, and you want something to kind of soak up all that gravy with. So you can do it over rice, you can do it over so many different things, potatoes, but bread, man. You know, you soak that up, soak it up, it's amazing. All right, so I'm gonna grab some flour. We've got some yogurt, baking powder. Gotcha. Honey, maybe? Something sweet? I feel like Howard, do you want something sweet?
Always.
Always. It's nice to have something sweet. All right. Nice big bowl. You guys know I don't really measure, so I'm just kind of grabbing something that's something, right? So this is just a little glass jar, at least it's something. So I'm gonna grab a cup of flour, right in. Not a cup, but a jar of flour. I'm gonna do about, I would say, half that, maybe a little bit more than half that of yogurt. Right in. Beautiful. Little hit of baking powder. This is gonna help it kind of rise. Nice hit of salt. And then our butter that we reserved. Oh yeah. This looks good. It's gonna get messy. I love it. And then I'm gonna take a little bit more of these red onions and actually put it right into the bread. And when those kind of fry up, really delicious. All right, so I'm gonna grab a little spoonage and move this around. And we're just making kind of a dough, right? And kind of eye it. If it starts looking dry, you can add a little bit more yogurt. If it starts looking wet, you can add a little bit more flour. But the goal is for it to just kind of come together really quickly. And these are just one of those breads that don't need to rise. They just kind of will cook right here and right now. All right, this feels a little bit dry, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more flour, or yogurt. And you can tell it's dry just because it's not coming together, right? It's kind of just staying in one lump mass. That might have been too much yogurt. Way too much yogurt. But we'll try it out. So this is too much yogurt. I just want you to be able to see this too. So this is too wet. You see how wet that is? So I'm gonna add a nice handful of flour. This is what cooking's all about. Everyone thinks baking is so precise, but really if you can just kind of identify, okay, it's looking like dough, and it's something that I can handle and it's not too sticky, then you're golden. How much time do I have, Howard?
About 8 minutes.
This is not easy. Okay.
Are you concerned?
I'm not confident right now. All right, so we've got a nice little dough ball. I'm gonna give my hands a quick wash because they look like zombies. How's that chicken smelling?
Delicious.
That smells so good. Okay, so I'm gonna move this around. You can see we're just starting to get a little bit of color, but I will say color is not huge in this because like I said, it's kind of gonna make its own gravy. So next up on this, I'm gonna add some tomato, right? This is about a half a cup of tomato. And then some coconut milk. And coconut milk, don't get the light stuff, get the whole fat stuff. It's just worth it. Light is just watery, flavorless. The whole fat stuff is kind of indulgent, rich, I don't know, cream-like. Go for the whole fat stuff. All right, so out we go. Just look in this, Howard. So see how we're kind of toasting the tomato sauce and kind of wrapping it around each of the chicken. That's really important. This kind of cooks out the raw tomato, mixes it with the spices and all that good stuff. And now, just a little bit of that coconut milk. Look at this. Doesn't that look good?
Delicious.
Yeah, that's really good. So we're gonna let this kind of simmer away and just kind of cook while we worry about our bread. Cool? So I'm gonna make some space. Now, cool tip, if you do not have a rolling pin, which I don't think I do, probably did at one point, but rolling pins are like the first ones to go. So if you don't have a rolling pin, use a wine bottle. Nice tip. Try not to spill the wine. So I'm just gonna use this guy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut myself 3 little balls. Kind of make it in the shape of a ball. You do not care about this being perfectly round. And just kind of roll it out. Look at this. I wouldn't call this naan. Trust me, this is not, oh my God, it's falling apart. It's too sticky. So if this happens, just a little bit more flour. See how it sticks to the counter? Just a little bit more flour and back to it. This is what cooking's all about. Feel it, don't get discouraged, know you can do it, and you'll be singing in the rain. All right, Next up, I'm gonna grab a little bit of olive oil, and I'm literally just gonna kind of slap it on one side of this bread, rub it in, a little bit of salt on that side, and then just take the whole thing, tear and all, right into a hot grill. And I'm gonna literally take my oily hand on the other side and pat it through. Let's make another one. Howard, come with me. So a little extra flour, because we know it was sticking a little bit. Just kind of press it through. You can almost just do it by hand, but I will say the wine bottle makes it a lot easier. You just kind of roll it once through. It's a nice tender dough. Little olive oil on one side. Pat that through. A little bit of salt. Can you believe this? It's like literally flatbread in minutes. I mean, it's pretty cool. You're not buying the pizza dough, nothing like that. This is totally just from scratch. All right, so let's give it a quick turn. Let's see how fast this thing even cooks. All right, that one's one for behind me. We'll get that one later. Now, this guy, in. Beautiful. We won't turn this one prematurely. A little more olive oil. Beautiful. Okay, awesome. So check out the butter chicken, Howard. Get right in there. You see how it's kind of getting thick and kind of gravy-like? That's exactly what we're looking for. So I'm gonna grab some cilantro, and obviously I made just the biggest mess of my life, but that's kind of, I would say that's pretty much par for the course. All right, so avoid the flatbread on the ground. I don't have anything to scrape this up with, so we're just gonna tear. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the stems of the actual cilantro. I'm just gonna grab a couple of these. And I'm gonna literally cut these nice and small. Beautiful. And these are gonna kind of go in before all the leaves. So they just add a little bit of extra oomph during the cooking process. That looks really good. I want it more tomatoey. It's a little bit coconut milky for me. That's okay. How much time I got?
Less than 3.
3 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do this bread thing again, shall we? Let's use tongs this time. 1, 2, I'm scared. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, yes. Look at that bread, you guys. Fluffy, really tender, instant flatbread. I mean, this would be great if you're making Mediterranean food. It doesn't have to be with Indian food, but I just think it's really nice to kind of mop up sauces and know that you can make bread from scratch and it doesn't take all day long. All right, so let's get a plate. You heard me right, baby. We are plating, and I just stepped in the bread. Howard, come. I just stepped in the bread. I gotta move this. Okay. This is what it's all about, man. All right, we got a plate. Let's taste our butter chicken. If it tastes right, the spices should come through. You should get a nice kind of meaty flavor, but really it should be about the tomato. Wow, I love it. I don't know if that needs anything. Maybe a hint of salt. It's not spicy, you can add more chili if you want. Oh my gosh. That's really, really, really good. I know I'm acting surprised, but sometimes when you just have Indian food, it's just kind of this like religious thing where it's just like, oh God, I haven't had those flavors in a while, and it just kind of, I don't know, makes you crave it. All right, so butter chicken done. Check out the flatbread. I mean, do you hear that? Fresh bread. How sweet is that? So we got fresh bread. I'm gonna grab some butter chicken, and I'm literally gonna just spoon it right on top of the bread. Let it kind of soak through. I'm not gonna cover the whole bread because I kind of want to grab the sides. See the gravy I was telling you about? This is awesome. Get lots of that stuff. Beautiful. All right, now a little bit of the red onion, just to kind of finish on top. A little bit of that cilantro. Just like that. That's probably a lot of cilantro. Skip it if you're not into it. I'm cool with that. You could serve this with a little bit of lime. whatever you need, a beer, but oh my God. Homemade flatbread, a little bit of butter chicken in 17 seconds left to spare. Are you kidding me? No, stop the clock. Stop the clock. Come on! 30 seconds left on the clock. Look at this, Howard. Is that amazing? And it smells intoxicating.
It smells great.
It smells so good. I can't wait to kind of mop this up and eat it. That is a meal fit for a king. I love it. And if you want to make recipes just like this, absolutely head to readyforseconds.com or Yumly, and you'll see way more recipes that you can rock out in 15 minutes or less.